Back in Miami, getting set for the opening kickoff between the Miami Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. Let's go to the sideline where Sarah Kustok is bearing up with the heat.
That's right, Sam. And today, the Dolphins finally get their QB back. Ryan Tannehill will play his first game in 21 months, telling us physically he feels he could run, cut, move even better than before the injuries. However, the mental aspect may be the difference maker. During his timeout, Tannehill studied and prepared every day like he was going to play. So while it may technically be only year 2 in Adam Gase's system, he looks at it as year 3, a greater understanding of the offense to respond quicker, play faster, and bring a new level of confidence and leadership to this group.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll be checking in with Sarah throughout the game. The Dolphins won the coin toss and elected to defer. The rookie kicker, Jason Sanders, kicks it off. Darius Jennings steps up to the 8-yard line. And we're underway in the new season. Jennings busts through. Broke a tackle, gets across the 30. And here is the 4th-year quarterback, Marcus Mariota, on the field. Did not have a good year last year.
No.
More interceptions than touchdown passes thrown.
You would have thought after the 2016 season that he's going to naturally, in year number 3, he's going to make that jump, but he didn't. More balls were intercepted. Not as many scoring drives. The coaching staff, that's why they're excited about Matt LaFleur, the new offensive coordinator, working with Mariota on his accuracy, especially his footwork, Sam.
From the 35, Derrick Henry gets about a yard on the play. Robert Quinn takes him down. Let's check out the Tennessee Titans lineup on offense. Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis, who was brought in from New England, will share the running back duties. Hurry-up offense. Both teams want to play the hurry-up offense early in the game. Mariota, the short pass. He connects with Delaney Walker, the tight end, who's taken out of bounds up the 45, a first down.
Very few teams have their number 1 wide receivers going to be a tight end. You see that in New England, but they also have that in Tennessee. Mariota's very, very comfortable with Walker as that security blanket.
Delaney Walker has put up great numbers in his 5 years here in Tennessee. Last year with 74 receptions and over 800 yards. On first down, it's Derrick Henry again, and he's brought down. Short game, less than a yard. Derrick Henry takes over as the number 1, the lead back for the Titans. DeMarco Murray is gone.
Yeah, amazing what he did last season as the backup to DeMarco Murray. Not necessarily the best combination, 2 big banger backs. This style is more suitable to NFL offenses. The difference between him and his running style and what they get when they bring in Dion Lewis.
2 tight ends in, Jonnu Smith and Luke Stocker. And again, it's Henry straight ahead as they continue to pound the ball up to the 49-yard line. Let's check out the Dolphins on defense, and they have changed things over defensively. Gone is Ndamukong Suh. Robert Quinn has come in, an outstanding pass rusher, to join Cam Wake.
Yeah, we know they can rush the passer. Those linebackers are the question. Only veteran in there is Kiko Alonso. He's got to bring that type of leadership. Raekwon McMillan injured last year, so this is almost like his rookie season.
Dion Lewis in at running back for Tennessee on 3rd and 6. Mariota completes it. And a first down at the Dolphins' 34-yard line to Corey Davis is a key man.
And talking to Rob Moore, the wide receiver coach for Tennessee, he said everything starts with Corey Davis. They spent the 1st-round draft pick on him last season, hurt at the beginning of the season, got a little bit hotter in the playoffs. They're expecting this season to be a breakout one for him.
Gain of 17 on the last play. A first down at the 34. Derrick Henry back in at running back. Davis motions. Henry busts through the first wave and is tripped up as he gets across the 30-yard line, down to the 29, a gain of 5. Raekwon McMillan made the stop.
The Tennessee Titans, they love running to their left side. That's where they have their all-pro left tackle, Taylor Lewan. They're going to run at Robert Quinn. They believe he's a speed guy and want to be able to play some physical football.
Off the play fake, the short pass complete to Davis, and he's brought down by Minkah Fitzpatrick, the first-round draft pick of the Dolphins out of Alabama.
Dolphin staff are so excited to get Minkah Fitzpatrick. Man, he comes with all the type of attributes you want. He's a veteran even as a rookie. He's having an influence on the older guys in the locker room. Nick Saban said the best leader that he's coached in all of football. Now we're talking about the best coach in all of college football. If he says that about Minkah, we can expect great things from him with the Dolphins.
3rd and 4, Dion Lewis is in again at running back. He's an outstanding pass receiver. Picks up the blitz. Mariota throws for the end zone, and it's incomplete. Trying to hit Taywan Taylor.
This is what they want to do on 3rd down. Isolate the receivers on the outside, and they're going to go at Bobby McCain. They believe if they're going to go at one guy in the secondary, it's that right cornerback. So look for many more attempts in that area trying to generate some big plays.
Ryan Suckup on to attempt a 47-yard field goal. Brett Kern, the holder. Bo Brinkley, the long snapper. It's on the way, and it is good. Strong leg of Ryan Suckup. And the Tennessee Titans take the opening kickoff and march down and score a field goal. In Miami, a 9-play, 37-yard scoring drives. Ryan Suckup with the 47-yard field goal, putting Tennessee out in front. Jakeem Grant, 3rd-year man out of Texas Tech. Always a danger to break one. He's got great speed. Suckup lets it fly. Grant steps up, 1 yard deep, brings it out. Looking for a lane, gets across the 20 to the 22. And here comes Ryan Tannehill. He missed all of last season. In 2016, he may have been playing his best ever in the NFL. But then in week 14, a sprained knee, tore his left ACL in practice in the training camp. And after missing 20 games in 636 days, here comes day number 637 and a chance to play back in the NFL. And he feels he's better now than he was when he got injured. Off the play fake, swinging it out to Kenyon Drake. And the former Alabama running back gets across the 30 to the 32 and a first down. And it's a battle of the Alabama running backs.
Oh, yeah, we're going to see a lot of running backs in this game. First play, they get a change of pace. They have Gore and Drake in the game at the same time. We know his skill level last year, finished the season, last 5 weeks, very, very strong, one of the best backs in the NFL.
Frank Gore coming over as a free agent from Indianapolis, playing in his 113th consecutive game, his 109th consecutive start. And a false start against Miami. Jerome Boger is our referee
before the
today.
snap. False start. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And pre-snap penalties were a bugaboo for Miami last season.
Yeah, this is not going to make the coaching staff. This is one of the point of emphasis as far as the fundamentals. It's hard to have good winning football drives when you're always 1st and 15, 2nd and long. This is one of the things that they were trying to get away from last season. That's the reason why they struggled offensively.
Gore and Drake both in the lineup. Empty backfield. Tannehill gets good protection, and he completes it to Danny Amendola. Short pickup. Up to the 33-yard line. Danny Amendola coming over from the New England Patriots after an outstanding performance in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Kenyon Drake is the running back. They motion A.J. Derby, the tight end. 3 wide receivers in.
180!
And here's Drake. He takes over as the #1 running back. Took over late last season after Jay Ajayi was traded to Philadelphia. And actually, last 5 weeks of the regular season, no one had more rushing yards than Kenyon Drake. Taking a look at the Tennessee Titans defense. Outside it goes to Amendola and gets up to the 38-yard line. But short of the first down, and that a result of that pre-snap penalty. They never made it up.
2 things they're trying to get better at: third down conversions and also pre-snap penalties. They're basically 3 plays and out on the first drive. This is not what we talked about when we talked to the coaching staff as far as getting that fast pace going and generating first downs.
Matt Hawk, the punter, in his second year, strong leg, high punt. Adoree Jackson lets it go, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Marcus Mariota back on the field with the Titans leading 3-0. Marcus Mariota in his 4th season. Last season, up and down, home and road. At home, 6-2 with only 4 interceptions. On the road, 3-4 with 11 interceptions.
He's got to cut those road interceptions at least in half, Sam, for them to be successful.
Goes on first down to Corey Davis. Boy, they're getting him involved in a hurry. Davis up to the 30-yard line. And close to the first down. Time for a game break. Let's join Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Sam. Let's go to New Orleans. Ryan Fitzpatrick, starting for a suspended Jameis Winston, drops back and hauls this one out. How about this? 58-yard connection with Deshaun Jackson, all tied up at 7 in New Orleans. Sam, Chris in the booth, and Sarah.
No Jameis Winston, but well thrown by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Corey Davis on the reception.
Yes, I think the left tackle, Quentin Swain, I think he gets a finger in his eye. You can see the interior lineman. A lot of times they try to put their hand on their chest or on their breastplate, the way the coach it, but the hand slides up sometimes around your neck and then every once in a while in your eye, Sam. So I think that's what happened on this case.
Quentin Swain heads off for some attention on the sideline. Kevin Pamfield, who is from Miami, will replace him. They pick up a first down. Mariota getting comfortable with Corey Davis right away, getting Corey Davis involved.
People are going to try to take Delaney Walker away from him. They know he's their #1 target, but for the Titans to be successful, they expect Corey Davis to have a 1,000-yard season.
And another change in the weather. It's raining again. And it'll be going on and off. Quick throw outside and complete to Tajay Sharp. Up to the 47-yard line, a pickup of 17.
What happens here? They're going to get a blitz off the edge. Mariota reads it. That's the development you want from your young quarterback. A cat blitz, you know the safety's going to be coming over. Him and the wide receiver make the adjustment. You could see the growth in a young quarterback when you don't see that cat blitz coming from his front side.
Quentin Spain back in the game after some quick attention. He's back in at left guard, so he's okay. First down for the Titans at their own 47. They line up the tight end, Luke Stocker, as a fullback, and Mariota steps back, calls timeout, and they'll talk things over. At Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, the rain is really coming down now. They've expected showers throughout the afternoon, and that's what we're getting right now.
This is the rain season in South Florida.
First down at the 47. Two tight ends in. They motion Corey Davis. And the toss to Derrick Henry. Slipped one man and another, and gets back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Well played by the Dolphins.
It's going to be hard to run wide on the Dolphins. Their ends are in a 9 technique outside. That's on the outside shoulder of that tackle, and it's hard to get around the edge. Good football teams, you can't play good defense unless you set that edge, and the Dolphins do that.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Devon Godshaw, the second-year man out of LSU, made the tackle on that last play. Off the play fake, the screen pass to Derrick Henry. Picks his way across midfield and down the 48-yard line. Let's check in on what the Patriots are doing. Here comes Carissa Thompson.
Thanks, Sam. A familiar sight here for these two. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski connecting for the 76th time. This one a 21-yarder. New England up early, 7-0. Sam, Chris, and Sarah.
Gronk gets off to a good start.
Oh, really? He's a great player. Anytime the Crabs go into their checkbook and start dishing out money during the season, you know, hey, we're going to try to retain him.
3rd and 5. Dion Lewis in at running back. Mariota takes off and tripped up, and he gets a first down. They want to try and contain him. He's got good legs. His players say he only runs when he has to, but he can run well.
No, he's a pocket passer who will run if you force him. One thing we do have here, you see Micah Fitzpatrick, he matches up with Mariota in space. Typically, he's a sure tackler. It's not Alabama, not the SEC. This is the big boy league. Mariota gives him the leg, takes it away, converts that first down.
First down, Titans at the Dolphins' 42. Dion Lewis stays in the game. And Mariota takes another timeout. That's 2 timeouts taken here in the first quarter. Titans have the lead, but want to talk things over. Titans on a first down, but they've used 2 timeouts already here in the first quarter. Why does that happen, Chris?
I mean, you have to realize, first-time offensive coordinators in the booth, first game for Vrabel as a head coach, young quarterback on the road. It's okay to burn a couple.
Derrick Henry down to the 36-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. What a day for Mike Vrabel. His first game as a head coach in the NFL, had an outstanding career as a linebacker, and then was an assistant coach at Ohio State and in the NFL.
He's a very good
with
coach.
The Houston Texans.
I know some of the kids he coached at Ohio State. He always had aspiration of being a coach, but not on this level. Thought he'd be a high school coach one day.
2nd and 4. Off the play fake, Mariota rolls and throws deep. He's got the tight end wide open. Luke Stocker, normally a blocking tight end, gets wide open inside the 10 and is down at the 5.
This is what happens. They slip a tight end. They want to do play action off the same action running the ball. So they run outside zone to Derrick Henry. They slip the tight end off the back of the formation because it's a look that Dolphins are used to seeing. Best play action passes, they're the ones that look exactly like your runs.
Gain of 31 on that play. 1st and goal for the Titans. Derrick Henry ran into his own man, pulls his way down the 2-yard line. Titans have moved the ball well offensively, and Marcus Mariota has started the game 7 for 8 for 89 yards.
He could be perfect. He had one to Taylor there in the back of the end zone. He could have come up with a 50-50 ball. You're expecting to make some of those catches. but he's leading them. That's why I don't mind the timeouts, because they had momentum. That was a first down. Why get a penalty right there and make it 1st and 15? Now we're inside the 5-yard line, ready to put 6 on the board.
2nd and goal at the 3-yard line. Derrick Henry, the running back. Off the play fake. Mariota throws, and it's broken up. Bobby McCain came over, got a hand on it on the pass intended for Delaney Walker.
They run a similar play, the opposite action. Going to try to jam it in the line of scrimmage. Pull the ball out, a little bootleg to your left. Mariota doesn't get his shoulders turned and get his feet in position that he can put enough heat on it to get it to him. Wide receiver was open, but only for a short period of time.
By the way, the rain has stopped. The changing weather of South Florida, the rain has stopped. 3rd and goal, Dion Lewis in at running back. From the 3-yard line. Mariota with time. Nobody open. Now he throws. Incomplete. Ten-play drive stalls at the Miami 3.
Great job by the Miami Dolphins defense. They're going to rush 4 here and drop 7. Really only some small windows to be able to throw into. Offensive line does a great job of giving them protection. This wouldn't have been good anyway because he stepped out in the back of the end zone. You can see the back judge through his hat. When he throws his hat, he lets you know the offensive players, he can't touch it first.
And Mike Vrabel, the rookie head coach, is going for it. Mariota throwing outside, and it comes up short. Corey Davis was stopped by Minka Fitzpatrick.
I'm telling you, Dolphins fans, you guys got it right by drafting Minka Fitzpatrick. He's going to be a great football player. He can play in the cavity. He can play back in space. But as I mentioned before, he missed the tackle on Marcus Mariota. Watch him get his head in front to make sure the ball carrier can advance. Good football tackle right there, stopping him before he gets the scoring opportunity.
So Vrabel gambles on 4th and goal from the 3, and they come up short on the big defensive play by the rookie Minka Fitzpatrick.
Adam Gase told me if he wasn't a rookie, he'd be a team captain.
Wow. Dolphins on offense from the 2-yard line, and there's movement on the line.
Then we're going to get a little neutral zone infraction right here.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Ryan Tannehill, a veteran quarterback, he gives a little voice inflection, goes in and out. Hot, hot, hot. Them big guys now, it's a little hot, it's been raining, they can't hold their water down there. Get them an easy 5 yards.
So it's 1st and 5 for the Dolphins as they get a little breathing room.
180!
Flag on the play. Kenyon Drake gets across the 10 up close to the 12-yard line. But we'll check out the flag as we keep Mr. Boger busy early in the game. 13th year as a referee for Jerome Boger, 15th season in the NFL.
Offside. Defense, number 90. Lining up in the neutral zone. This penalty is declined. The result of the play, first down.
All right, first down Dolphins on the run by Kenyon Drake. And there is Adam Gase in his 3rd year as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. His first year they made the playoffs and they went 10-6. Last year, no Ryan Tannehill, and they went 6-10. Tannehill with a quick toss outside as he completes it to Albert Wilson, who was brought in from Kansas City. This is a versatile receiver.
They plan on using him a lot of different ways. Him and Danny Amendola, they will man the slot. And this offense, not in the running game, but the passing game, is based on how good the slot receivers can be.
3 wide receivers in. Ball up to the 17. 2nd and 6 for the Dolphins.
Hey, stay out, stay out, stay out. Stay out. 180!
Off the play fake. Tannehill with time, throws, it's incomplete. Try to hit Danny Amendola. That was well covered on the play. Time for another update. Let's go to Carissa Thompson.
All right, Sam, we're going back to New Orleans. The Saints were up 10-7 when Ryan Fitzpatrick decides to hang on to this one himself. He's under center for the next 3 games while Winston serves that suspension. They're up 14-10. Sam?
Ryan Fitzpatrick doing the job for the Buccaneers as they take the lead on the Saints.
In the short spat, man, he's a good veteran quarterback to have. You need a guy to take over your offense 3, 4, 5 weeks. He's capable of doing it.
Right here, 3rd down for the Dolphins, 3rd and 6. Tannehill completes it. Breaking a tackle, Albert Wilson. He gets up to the 24 for a first down. Good effort by Albert Wilson.
You got to be a good runner in this offense. They're going to throw a lot of passes short. We saw Jarvis Landry the last several years have over 100 catches a year on routes a lot like this. Albert Wilson played a little running back in college. Adam Gase went back and saw some film when they paid him that money. Wouldn't be surprised if we see this guy line up in the backfield and have a little, maybe a little special play.
Jakeem Grant in the game now for Miami.
Chase. Not.
Ball at the 23. A first down for the Dolphins, who started at the 2-yard line off the play fake. Tannehill has his man, Kenyon Drake, wide open, and he's down at the 27-yard line. We reached the end of the first quarter. Tennessee Titans scored on the first possession of the game, scored a field goal. After that, no scoring. 3-0 Tennessee. Sam Rosen, Chris Carter, Sarah Kustok here in Miami. Glad you're with us for the NFL on Fox. Opening Sunday. Look at the first quarter's stats. Tennessee moved the ball, scored only 3 points, but have the lead. Time of possession decidedly in Tennessee's favor.
Yeah, Adam Gase, he wanted to have this on the other side, to have that Tennessee defense on the field for 8 to 10 minutes in that first quarter. See if it would pay some dividends late in the game.
Frank Gore in at running back. Tannehill throws and completes it for a first down to Jakeem Grant. Grant, as a rookie, was used mostly as a return man. Last year, they kind of got him into the flow as a receiver. He's dangerous.
Good first down there. Watch Miami getting first downs. They might go no huddle after they get first down.
No, you're good.
3 wide receivers left. Derby, the tight end, to the right side. Frank Gore on the carry. Boy, he can still do it. He's back home in Miami where he wants to be.
There's not a lot of guys in this league I respect more than Frank Gore. Coming back here to Miami, he's excited. He's got a young little stud playing football down there in South Florida where he played football for Miami Killen High School, so he's able to see him play on a regular basis. But 14,000 yards rushing in this league, consistency. One day I'm going to have a teammate in the Hall of Fame, and his name's going to be Frank Gore.
You're right about that. Gain 10 on that carry. First down Dolphins. Tannehill throws outside and completes it. Again to Jakeem Grant, who's wrestled out of bounds, and a flag flies. And there is Malcolm Butler, the former New England Patriot.
Yeah, they're going to get him
upset with the call.
They're going to get him for unnecessary roughness. They're isolated on the outside.
Personal foul.
One-on-one. They got a lot of confidence in Grant.
Number 21. 15-yard penalty after the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
That's typically a play that they give to the quarterbacks. They normally don't give wide receivers benefit of the doubt. That's a questionable call. It's a physical game. Malcolm Butler's first action.
Super Bowl hero in Super Bowl 51. Last year, the forgotten man for the Patriots in Super Bowl 52, signed with the Titans because they came to him and he said they wanted me.
They came to him, they loved him. They say, how do you know you love you? They show you the money. Malcolm Butler, very, very happy. Tennessee Titans General Manager John Robinson, formerly from New England, is excited to have him.
Frank Gore on the carry. Cutting it inside, he still runs hard. A star at San Francisco, then 3 years in Indianapolis, and now the native of the Miami area back home. A University of Miami star. He still looks the same.
I wonder what kind of moisturizer he's using. Goodness gracious. He's aging well.
And he's happy, and as you said, his son, who's a junior in high school, got a scholarship offer from the University of Kentucky. Around the left side is Albert Wilson, who lined up at running back.
I thought we'd see him at running back. This is just one of several wrinkles that Adam Gase has. His 4th year at Georgia State, he played some running back. Adam Gase told me, hey, Chris, keep this in your pocket. Don't let anybody know this. I'm going to put him in the backfield.
How about this drive that started at the 2-yard line, now down to Tennessee 21. First down for the Dolphins. 4 wide receivers in the game for the Dolphins. Wilson motions. Tannehill rushed. Throws it to Wilson on the outside. Picks up a nice gain down the 16-yard line. With a flag on the play. There's a flag on the play.
I think they're going to get holding on the left tackle, the Dolphins there.
Holding. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Laramie Tunsil, the left tackle, called for the hold.
Yeah, he had a little bit of his jersey and part of his body. I knew they weren't going to let him get away with that one. Titans will put pressure on the outside. So the outside tackles for the Dolphins, the right and left tackle, man, they're going to have their work cut out for them.
Ball back to the 31. 11th play of this drive. Frank Gore's the running back. 1st and 20.
Big holding penalty there. Took them out of the red zone.
180!
Here's Gore. Nice hold. Down the sideline and out of bounds at the 10. How about that run for Frank Gore?
I talked to his agent on the sideline, Drew Rosenhaus. I said, Drew, you can't ask for more money. The season hadn't even started yet. But the staff was very, very happy with the guy's leadership. Him and the coach were almost to fisticuffs during training camp because Frank wanted to practice. And Adam's like, I got big plans for you during the regular season. So this is part of that new leadership that they're bringing to that Dolphins locker room.
Kenyon Drake back in. What a rotation with Drake and Gore. 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. Amendola in motion. 3 wide receivers in. Outside, complete. Touchdown, Kenny Stills. 98-yard drive for the Dolphins.
They got 2 receivers here. Watch him coming to the flat, clearing. They're going to double team the in cut, leave the out cut. Bad footwork by Dory Jackson, allowing to get outside. Good read by Ryan Tannehill, realizing the inside receiver is going to be taken away by the double team. He puts a good ball on Kenny Stills to allow him to complete the catch and run to be able to score.
What a drive by the Dolphins. That's just the way Adam Gase pictured it.
Yeah, we need a first down so that we can go hurry up and increase the pace. Also, maybe eliminate the penalties. They run a good inside run, which were able to get them back into the red zone area after the bad holding call. This is what you have to do. You're going to be able to make mistakes offensively, but you got to be able to overcome them. You overcome them by making big plays.
Jason Sanders for the extra point try out of the Holden Bad Hawk. The long snapper is John Denny in his 14th season, 209th consecutive game as a Miami Dolphin. Extra point is good, and the Dolphins have the lead early in the second quarter. They march 98 yards, and Kenny Stills dives in for the go-ahead score.
On this pass play they score on, Sam, there's no way Tennessee has a defense. These 3 guys right here, they're guarding these 2. They're going to run a combination route that's fairly simple. He's going in, and he's coming out. All Dory Jackson's got to do is stay outside in the flat. He either intercepts it and goes the other way for a touchdown, or he makes the play for no gain.
The kickoff to Darius Jennings, who takes the touchback. Hey, Chris, you can talk about this show.
Oh, let's do it tomorrow morning. That's how we do it, 6:30 every morning, weekdays. Come join us. Me and my partner, Nick Wright and Jenna Wolf, talking about sports, talking about all the big-time topics. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Meet me, 6:30 Eastern.
You get all dressed up that early in the morning?
Yeah, I got someone that's great, picks out my clothes and everything. It's fair. I just got to show up.
How about this drive? 12 plays, 98 yards, and Frank Gore 3 carries for 37.
Great mixing the run with the pass. The Dolphins have a lot of faith in their offensive line. You can see it in that drive.
And by the way, Chris's show, along with Jenna Wolf and Nick Wright, on FS1 and Fox Sports app. No gain on that play.
One of the philosophies for the Titans is we got to build a run at Robert Quinn. We can't have him just come off the ball and just rush the passer. We know he's a rush specialist, but also he figures himself to be a three-down player. They're going to run at him. That's going to be a major battle there between him and the all-pro left tackle, Taylor Lewan.
Loss of 5 back to the 20, 2nd and 15. Mariota sends everybody out. The circle play is complete to Dion Lewis, and a first, just short of the first down, is Lewis up to the 33. Dion Lewis played so well in New England, used as a running back, and he ran the ball well, but an excellent receiver out of the backfield.
A lot of the skilled guys that leave New England, it's hard for them to have that same production. They go other places because Tom Brady, and then how they're utilizing the game plan. Tennessee feels like maybe not the 800 yards rushing, but as a wide receiver, and they believe that him and Derrick Henry are the best thunder and lightning punch in the National Football League.
There's 3rd and 2 for the Titans. And movement. Lewan is pointing at Quinn, saying Quinn jumped across the line.
Smart play by Taylor Lewan. He's a Michigan guy. Of course, they don't let you in there unless you're smart.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 94. I'm sorry. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, they let him in because he's big, too, and smart.
Look at you, an Ohio State man, complimenting a Michigan guy.
Oh, yeah, he's a good player, man. I like when Michigan's good. But right here, man, you're talking about a difference in what they're sending at the defense. Derrick Henry, last year, we know the productivity he had late in the season. Dion having one of his biggest seasons at 5'8", one at 6'3", man, all close to 250. It's going to give defenses problem throughout the 2018 season.
Davis goes in motion. The first down for the Titans at the 38. Dion Lewis looking for some room. Gets about a yard on the play.
Sometimes you lose him in there. The program says 5'8". I saw him down the field. Hey, Sam, they being generous these days. Yeah.
Titans trying to keep the tempo up. Mariota keeps it. Tries to turn the corner. Gets up to the 45-yard line, just short of the 45. Bring up a 3rd and 3. Charles Harris made the tackle for the Dolphins. T.J. McDonald was there as well. Dolphins secondary is strong.
Titans fans, when you watch the Titans this year offensively, you would think Mariota in year number 4, man, he's going to run less. No, they're going to actually run him more. I expect him this year to potentially be the leading quarterback rusher in the National Football League. Cam Newton's got Norv Turner there, so he's going to run the ball less there in Carolina. Mariota's going to run it more for the Titans.
On 3rd and 3, Dolphins rush 4. The pass too far. Davis stopped. He was tangled up along the sideline. The pass incomplete. Time for an update. Here's Kurt Menefee.
All right, we all know that Le'Veon Bell's not playing for the Steelers this week. James Conner is at running back, and he gets his first NFL touchdown, a little 4-yard run, and makes sure he hugs the offensive line. So message, you wonder? 7-0 Steelers on top of the Browns. Sam!
Thank you, Kurt. Boy, good to have the guys back.
It's good to have football back.
Oh, that's for sure.
Kickoff week.
That is for sure. Brett Kern, the veteran punter, gets it away toward the sideline, out of bounds, around the 15-yard line. This past week, we lost a member of our Fox family. Our car camera operator, Tommy Skinner, passed away in his home in Chicago. He will be dearly missed by everyone, especially this crew. In Miami, where the Dolphins have a 7-3 lead. And a lead look at Frank Gore, who's instrumental on the last drive. Kenyon Drake is the running back, breaks through and gets up to the 23-yard line. Good run. Let's go to Sarah Kustok on the sideline, who's been watching Frank Gore and his contribution. Sarah.
Well, Sam, we got a chance to sit down and talk with Frank, and he talked about coming out of college, the 2 ACLs, where he had come from, and the doubters, and he said he still feels like he has so much to prove. So it was a different preseason, given the fact that Adam Gase wanted him off his legs some, wanted him off the practice field some, and Gore had said there's 2 things I do on the practice field. I lead by example, and I learn there. But he found ways to mentally approach the game differently, still figure out how to understand the fit of the offense. But Gase said there was still days where he had an off day and he would show up with his top to bottom sweat dripping. I said, didn't we give you the day off? He said, I just got on the treadmill a little bit to get some work in. But it is all about his preparation that has gotten him to this point and will continue to.
What a player. That's Brian Arakpo, the outside linebacker, the former Washington Redskin, hurt on the play as they're checking him out, checking out the left leg.
He lost the bottom of his shoe. His shoe came off. The sole of his shoe came off. His left shoe.
All right. If that's the only thing, then that's okay. They'll get him a new shoe.
Man, yeah, they got plenty of shoes.
2nd and 2 for the Dolphins. And it's Drake turning the corner. Flag on the play. He's out of bounds across the 30.
I'm pretty certain we got a little holding on the right tackle there. Got outside the framework of the body. They're typically going to call that, especially early in the season.
Holding, offense, number 70, 10-yard penalty, replay, 2nd down.
Javon James, you were right as usual.
Yeah, the coaching staff, they believe he's really improved. They believe this whole offensive line is underrated. You can see them, they're running the outside zone. That's one of the best plays that they like to run. He's trying to reach to the outside. And you can see him, it's just his hand placement early in the season, just a little sloppy. You got to stay in on those numbers.
Ball back at the 13-yard line. Have to get to the 25. For first down. Tannehill throws in, completes it to Jakeem Grant. He is small, but he is quick. 5'7", 169 out of Texas Tech.
They ran the same play. He's going to run a quick slant. The same play they ran to score the touchdown on. They play it a little different where they open up. Logan Ryan takes the flat, so the Tannehill makes the right decision and throws that slant.
Gain of 13 and a first down for the Dolphins. There's Drake breaking through. Across the 40 and up to the 42-yard line. Kevin Byard, the safety, takes him down.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get a hole on the inside of that offensive line. They run an inside trap, run a little wham block, invite the defensive tackle upfield, sucker block him, and get that inside run for a big game.
And here go the Dolphins up-tempo. Frank Gore is in. That was a 16-yard run for Kenyon Drake. 3 wide receivers. The tight end, A.J. Derby. Gore picks his hole and gets up to midfield. Boy, he's got a good burst.
He still got it, man. Same running style. Now, we haven't seen older running backs have a lot of success, but Frank Gore is one of the only guys. There's only 4 guys since the merger in 1970. He could still make that inside run. This is where he's made his living. I told you over 14,000 yards. Still a special player.
3 tight ends in for the Dolphins on 2nd and 2, including the rookie out of Penn State, Mike Gesicki, who they are very high on. And it's Frank Gore. And it's very close to a first down. In fact, it is a first down for the Dolphins. Another long drive being built, 2nd in a row for the Dolphins. They went 98 yards. Now here they started from the 15.
Oh, you're going to be able to move the ball. You're getting 9 yards a carry. Leading up to that carry right there, 9.1 every time they touched it. That's the running game that the Dolphins hadn't had in a long, long time. That's what Case talked about. The physicality of this offensive line, he believed to be very underrated.
Motion Albert Wilson. Drake is the running back. They hand it to Wilson. He keeps it and gets a couple of yards down the 45-yard line.
This is one of the other wrinkles they told they're going to give to us. They brought him in the backfield, handing him the ball. Now this time he has the option. He's going to run an inside option. And where did he get this from, man? It's senior year. This guy's averaging 10 yards a carry. But Adam Gase, he's not going to mind me saying this, I hope. He's a little bit of a nerd and a geek. You'll go back and find that old film there.
He found it. Derby motions the tight end. Blitz coming from the outside. They pick it up. The pass is complete. Breaking the tackle is Wilson. And he's brought down at the 25-yard line. Kenny Vaccaro took him down, the safety. Gain of 21 on the play.
They believe they have the matchups. They're going to put the safety outside the box, get Wilson on him. They're going to feature him in this offense on certain games, depending on how they get the matchup. They get a safety, they get a guy they feel like can't cover, they're going to throw at him.
Ryan Tannehill, 10 for 11, 83 yards. First down at the 24. Drake stopped in the backfield, gets away. Goes outside and is out of bounds back at the line of scrimmage.
Every once in a while you see that, man, that's a great run for no gain. Yes, they had him in the backfield. Titans played it well. Drake's just a better athlete, shields the tackle and is able to skate with the speed to be able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Benny Logan busted up this play, getting through in a hurry.
Yeah, you're not going to make a living run that Benny Logan. LSU Tiger, no, they don't play that there.
Frank Gore back in on 2nd and 10. It's Gore. No, it's Tannehill keeping on the run-pass option.
The coaches haven't forgot he's a good athlete. People would think with him getting those injuries, being out over 600 days, missing 20 games, he wouldn't run the ball. No. We need him to run the ball because he is a very good athlete. Not just an average athlete as a quarterback. You got to keep those RPOs in there to keep that backside of the defense. Now when you send out film for the next 3 weeks, those other 4 teams, they'll see that. That'll make that backside, so now you can get the run and get the cutback by your running backs.
10th play of this drive, which started at the 15. It's 3rd and 9. Tannehill throwing short, completes to Amendola, but he comes up a yard short of the first down. Close to the 15-yard line. It's going to be 4th and maybe 2. No, a yard and a half. No huddle. They're going for it. And we've reached the 2-minute warning. So the clock stops. The play is stopped. It's a 4th down for the Dolphins, who lead the Tennessee Titans on opening Sunday, 7-3. Rosen, Chris Carter, Sarah Kustak here in Miami. Dolphins going for it on 4th down and a long yard.
This is the most important play of the first half.
Hey,
momentum.
Buckets. Omaha.
They motion Wilson. Fake the handoff. Tannehill looking. Throwing for Drake. And out of bounds. It's incomplete. So both teams have failed on 4th down tries.
Tennessee does a great job here of taking the run away from Tannehill, forcing him to throw it.
The Dolphins' 70-yard drive is stopped as Drake was out of bounds. What happened on this play?
Well, for one, Kenyon Drake, he's got a better feel during the passing game. Once you come across the numbers, you only have about 6 strides before you're going to run out of bounds. So you got to be able to throttle down. You know the quarterback's holding the ball, and you want to make yourself a target on the sideline.
Titans start from the 15. They haven't had the ball much here in the second quarter. That pass off the hands of Corey Davis.
They're going to throw a lot of short passes like this, potential screens, pick routes. They're trying to be more explosive from an offensive standpoint. It doesn't always mean throwing the ball down the field. Sometimes it means giving your guys who have talent, like Corey Davis, who this whole passing game is going to be centered around, give it to him short. That pass right there a little too hot for him to handle.
Dion Lewis in the backfield with Marcus Mariota. Delaney Walker moving toward the line. The handoff to Lewis. And he busts a tackle and breaks through and turns it into a 10-yard pickup. You see the sun shining on the field right now, but it could get a little ominous.
Yeah, part of South Florida, man. Wait 15 minutes, the weather changed. Dion Lewis, he showed us last year, for the first time in his career, he could be an effective runner, running between the tackles, and you could see why. There is a threat in the weather forecast of thunderstorms and possible lightning in the area, so I think that's an alert. Right now it looks great. Sun is shining, but as you said, it could change in a minute. We'll be right back after this message from Verizon. I believe they're reviewing that last play, and of course all reviews in the final 2 minutes of the half of the game come from upstairs.
It has been reported that there's been a lightning strike within 1 mile of the stadium. The game is being suspended until further notice.
Well, there's the word. We talked about possible lightning in the area. Lightning strike a mile from the stadium, and play has been suspended until further notice. So we're going to take you to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, where the Giants are hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, when you're looking at the screen, it doesn't look like you would need a weather delay. But this is South Florida, and these storms roll in and out.
Football continues on Fox. We'll be back as soon as we get the all clear weather-wise. On to New York and Kenny Albert. Defensive coordinator Matt Burke of the Miami Dolphins. The fans cheering as they came out of the locker room. They're ready to resume play. So is Sarah Kustok. She's down on the field. What's going on, Sarah?
Well, I'll tell you what, both of these teams are ready to get back on the field and play, but got a chance to catch up with both coaches. And first, with Miami's Adam Gase, he had talked about defensively what they needed to do. The Titans were able to move the ball well despite not getting into the end zone, but he said their big focus for this second half, do not let Marcus Mariota use his legs. Don't let him run around. What they've wanted to do when the game plan has been to keep him in the pocket. Offensively, certainly likes how the Dolphins offense is looking, and they have used their run attack. He said coming into the season has been all about being aggressive for us, and Mike Vrabel echoed that. He said what they need to do is stop Miami's run. They've done a good job against them, mixing personnel, mixing up movement and play calling, thrown in a few traps. So what they need to do is make sure to focus on that run game and, of course, converting in the red zone. Both of these teams had opportunities at 4th and goal, but each coach said they like the opportunities, they like the play calling. Just give some credit to the defense.
Thanks, Sarah. Play resumes. The ball belongs to the Tennessee Titans on their own 25, 3rd and 1, a minute 11 remaining in the first half, with Miami leading 7-3. The delay, the lightning strike delay, an hour and 57 minutes. How tough is that on the players, Chris?
It's extremely difficult. I wouldn't be too surprised if play got a little bit sloppy, just coming out of training camp. So let's see how it goes.
Mariota with a quarterback sneak gets a first down. Marcus Mariota with 9 for 14 in the game, steps up on the rush. His pass is short and incomplete. There's a flag down in the Tennessee backfield. Jerome Boger, our referee.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Offense, number 77. Half the distance to the goal. replay, first down.
That's the left tackle, Taylor Lewan.
Yeah, this is going to be a battle all day. You're expecting that. Quinn, you know he's going to be that edge rusher. Taylor Lewan, he's a big physical guy, and as you can see right there, his hand just slides right up. It's one of the things, too, coming right out of a big delay like that. You can't expect guys that are technique just to be as crisp as you expect if a game continues in the regular duration of an NFL game.
Ball back at the 13-yard line. Have to get to the 36 for a first down. Lewis on the carry. He's stopped by Rashad Jones. And then the rest of the defense comes along to put him down. Clock running with 35 seconds remaining. Tennessee had one timeout remaining.
Just trying to get the 4 down.
Well, it's good to be back with you. It's good that football is resumed. Lightning strikes in the area really got everybody worried and certainly concerned for players' safety, but that's a long delay.
It's a long delay, especially it's tough, the first game of the season. That 53-man roster, typically you just don't have the conditioning to be able to go an NFL game. That's why we saw in some of the earlier games some injuries, some cramping issues, this being the hottest of the conditions. So I expect some of the guys difficult. Also from a fuel standpoint, they ate pre-game meal at 9 a.m.
Interesting. Here's Dion Lewis again. Trying to find an opening, gets across the 20 up to the 23-yard line. And now Miami calls timeout with 35 seconds remaining. Dolphins' second timeout as they hope to get the ball back with some time on the clock, but time growing short. First quarter belonged to the Tennessee Titans. They took the opening kickoff, marched down the field, settled for a field goal. Second possession, they drove inside the 5. They had a 4th and goal at the 3 and went for it and failed to make it.
And I believe that was a mistake. Your first game as an NFL coach, play the game the right way. Get those 3 points on the board. Give your team the momentum.
Here's 3rd and 13. And the handoff to Lewis again. Brought down as he gets across the 25, and the Dolphins immediately use their final timeout. 30 seconds remaining in the half. A nearly 2-hour lightning strike delay. What do the players do during that time? What can they do in that 2-hour stretch?
Well, the Dolphins, they do have a nice facility, so it is very comfortable for them compared to the visiting facilities. But you try to keep your mind from wandering. When you don't know how long, you don't know when to warm up, how much do you eat. So I'm sure that the training staff tried to get some fruit and some other nutrients into their body. But it's really hard to gauge because you don't know how long you're going to have at halftime. Now we're going to have a really short halftime. It's basically going to continuation of play for the second half.
Jakeem Grant is back to receive the punt from Brett Kern. Lots of movement, lots of shifting. Dolphins coming for the punt block. And Kern gets it away. Grant from the 19. Looking for an opening. He's brought down. Good coverage by the Titans. 55-yard punt. Ryan Tannehill playing in his first game since December of 2016 when he injured his knee. Missed all of last season with a torn ACL and has gotten off to an excellent start here in the first half.
Been very, very accurate with the football. He expressed us on Friday in the meeting with him how comfortable he was in the offense. Sometimes that doesn't transfer over to the field, but we see it with Tannehill. An excellent first half.
Dolphins take a knee, and that's it for the first half. So we've reached halftime with the Dolphins leading the Tennessee Titans and their rookie head coach Mike Vrabel 7-3. Here's the play of the first half, brought to you by Swiffer. And this was the touchdown to cap off a 98-yard drive by the Dolphins.
Yeah, good play call down there at the end. It's one of the staple throws in the NFL, a slant with a flat. Great delivery by Tannehill.
Halftime in Miami, but it's going to be brief, with the Dolphins leading the Tennessee Titans 7-3. Was today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive. Sam Rosen, Chris Carter, Sarah Kustok here in Miami as we get set for the start of the second half. Miami won the coin toss to start the game and deferred. They will receive the second half kickoff. That's Jakeem Grant back deep, as the players had the long delay of nearly 2 hours because of lightning strikes in the area. The weather wasn't all that bad, but the lightning certainly threatening the well-being. Touchback, and the Dolphins start from the 25. Ryan Tannehill, 11 for 13, 91 yards. But it's been balanced offense because the Dolphins have run the ball well with Kenyon Drake and Frank Gore.
It's been amazing what they wanted to accomplish. And you know, when you hear coaching staff, they start talking about the offensive line. Gase was emphatic how they were really underrated and how they were going to run the ball and be physical, and it starts with Frank Gore. As you can see, talking to some of the support staff in the big delay, they're going to try to get Frank Gore more carries in the second half.
And Drake and Gore are both in to start the second half. And it's Frank Gore cutting it back. Gets up to the 28-yard line. Picks up 3 on the play. Gore, 6 carries, 51 yards in his debut as a Miami Dolphin.
Very impressive. Most impressive thing is 8.5 per carry. That's why you got to get him in this type of heat. The Dolphins should be able to get him double-digit touches in the second half.
They stay with the same formation. Off the play fake, Tannehill throwing short. Across the 30 to Kenyon Drake, up close to the 32. They'll bring up a 3rd and 3.
First couple plays, you see Tennessee and their defense coming out. They're going to be far more aggressive. They're trying to put more people in the box. They only had 6 people in the box earlier when they went to 3 receiver sets. Now you see 7 receivers. You see them bump and run. You can see either some big plays down the field or trying to put pressure on Tannehill in the pocket.
Drake in the backfield with Tannehill. Danny Amendola motions. Tannehill throwing for Amendola, but he overthrew him. Malcolm Butler was covering on the play.
First time the Titans have really gotten some good pressure on Tannehill, getting a good lick on him. He's limping off the field. That offensive line, they've kept him clean. That's why he was so 11 out of 13 his first couple passes. Good decision there. Instead of trying to force something, throw the ball away, punt, live to see another day.
Matt Hawk will punt for the Dolphins. Strong left leg. Adoree Jackson for the Tennessee Titans with room to return. And finds some room. Across the 40. Breaks the tackle. Gets close to midfield. Outstanding return for Adoree Jackson. Second-year man out of USC, the first-round draft pick of the Titans last year. Shaking up a little bit here.
As you can see here, Adoree Jackson, he's a big-time returner. Sometimes it's not always on the return, it's the opposition. Sometimes it's the friendly fire that gets you.
That's Brendan Trawick of Tennessee colliding with Adoree Jackson. Jackson okay. Titans start from the 49-yard line. Derrick Henry slipped, got across midfield. And Down to the 49. That's Adoree Jackson going off under his own power.
They're trying to play a lot of man-to-man the second half. He's their nickel back. Very important how they're playing defense. So let's watch and see how he responds. Glad to see him up and off.
Now the Titans, who started the game, getting the offense going. They were going strong in the first quarter. And Miami took over possession time in the second quarter. Derrick Henry. Straight ahead down the 45-yard line. Vincent Taylor on the tackle, number 96.
Anytime you have the threat of your quarterback running, they got an RPO here. The quarterback has the run option, but you can see he takes a hit by the quarterback, by the defensive end in the RPO. Now Mariota's down on one knee after that lick.
And Mariota. That is Blaine Gabbert, the backup quarterback. Could be a hand problem for Marcus Mariota. Let's take a timeout, get a game break from Carissa Thompson. Carissa.
Thanks, Sam. So the Chiefs were up 7-3, and Patrick Mahomes' first career touchdown pass goes to Tyreek Hill, who takes this one in for 58 yards. Kansas City at 14-3. Sam, Chris, and Sam.
New look Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
If you watch these RPOs, they said they were going to get him involved in the running game. He hands it, but the defense has the ability when the quarterback's in shotgun. He's a regular football player. It's not like a quarterback being in the pocket. So that is the danger when you have a mobile quarterback and you run those RPOs where you're giving the quarterback the option. The defense, they can tee off on them, and a lot of times they're bad results.
And training staff and the doctors checking with Marcus Mariota. And sit him back down. Blaine Gabbert was signed as a free agent from Arizona. And he's ready to step in. Tennessee carrying only 2 quarterbacks on the roster.
One thing I would be concerned here, because Marcus, originally when he got into the huddle, he was grabbing his elbow, and then he went down and took a knee. So I think right now, if he thought he could come back into the game, he would have gotten up. But he realizes the backup needs to warm up. And so now he's giving them more time to look at him, even though I think it's more serious. Blaine Gabbert, I believe we're going to see some real live action of him getting in there.
And we'll be right back after this short message. Well, we're ready to resume play with a 3rd and 4. Marcus Mariota has gone to the sideline. Blaine Gabbert is in.
Now, Blaine Gabbert is a good athlete. They can still run some of the same stuff that they like to do with putting the quarterback on the move, RPOs, so they can run the same offense.
Gabbert spent last year with Arizona. He throws. It's incomplete. Try to get it to Delaney Walker. The Titans go off. And the punting unit comes on. So we'll see if Mariota will be okay to go next time the Titans get the ball. Brett Kern set to punt with Danny Amendola back deep for the Dolphins. Waves for a fair catch and takes it at the 10-yard line. Now concern for the Titans quarterback, Marcus Mariota, suffering an injury. Marcus Mariota trying to get that feeling back in the throwing hand. Meanwhile, the Dolphins start from their own 10. Tannehill handing off to Kenyon Drake. A stiff arm gets about 5 yards up to the 15-yard line. Jayon Brown, second-year man out of UCLA, making the stop for Tennessee.
Huddling at the line of scrimmage, which they were very, very successful about midway through that first quarter.
3 wide receivers in for Miami.
Hey, stay out, stay out, stay out.
Drake, the running back.
Hey, Alpha, Lance.
Tannehill checking off. A.J. Derby is the tight end, lined up in the slot. Here's Drake. Gets a couple of yards. Brown got a piece of him to slow him down. And then he's taken down at the 18-yard line. Brings up a 3rd and 2. Kenyon Drake splitting the running duties with Frank Gore. 8 carries, 49 yards. He's caught 2 passes in the game for 8 yards. 3rd and about a yard and a half. And then Drake, no opening. Good job up front by the Titans. They stuffed it.
Last season, they were a top 5 run defense. You get in short yardage situations. I don't think that's the Dolphins' strong suit. When they ran the ball in the first half and were successful with it, it was from spread formations or 2 tight ends, not 3 tight ends. So you're playing to their strong suit when you run right into the heart of the Titans' defense.
Rashard Matthews has replaced Adoree Jackson as the deep man for the Titans. Low snap, good job by Hawk. Kicks it away, strong boot, but out-kicks the coverage. Here comes Rashard Matthews. Gets back up close to the 35-yard line. 65-yard punt, 17-yard return. Thursday night football begins this week on the NFL Network, but week 4, here it comes on Fox. It all begins Thursday night football on Fox week 4. One huge matchup after another. Now it's a game. Marcus Mariota back in. And that's good news for the Tennessee Titans, who start from the 35. Dion Lewis, the running back. And Mariota checking off at the line. Lewis takes it outside. And is brought down at the 39-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play. Rashad Jones, he is one of the outstanding tacklers in the game, one of the best in the secondary.
Mariota here with the stretch play. This is their favorite run. They run a lot of zone scheme. Last season they ran a lot more man scheme. They like their men to be able to get out there athletic. Pro Football Focus, one of the publications I like to run, has them one of the top 5 offensive lines in the NFL. I would run behind them.
Off the play fake. Mariota with time. Looking and overthrows it. Intercepted by Rashad Jones. Jones on the return. Inside the 40. There's a flag on the play, but it looks like it'll be after the play. 25-yard return after the reception, the interception by Rashad Jones. Whoa, doesn't this get a little heated?
Yeah, there's going to be a late hit. One of the Dolphins cracked back on one of the Titans and knocked the player unconscious. And then the Titans saw this, and you can start to see the response. Wow. You'll see it at the end of the play.
Taylor Lewan, the offensive tackle for Tennessee, was being held back. You saw Mike Vrabel on the field trying to get his players away from the melee.
Jones makes a great play. It's going to take him a while to sort this one out. You have multiple fouls. Rashad Jones did make a good play. Overplaying. They had a 2-man route. He's playing center field. The quarterback was eyeballing his target. That's why he got a jump on it, was able to make the play over the top. On the return, you're going to see Taylor Lewan trying to come in and make a tackle, and he's going to get blindsided. As you can see him land on his face, and then the Titans responded after the interception.
All right, let's see again.
I think they're going to get 50 Andre Branch.
Andre Branch.
Yeah, this is one of the things they tried to take out of football a number of years ago. Like, you can't hit a guy. You can't block back on the play and crack back block on the guy.
And the officials continue the discussion here. There's Branch, the man who hit Taylor Lewan.
You can see him right there. That's a play that they try to take it out of football. You can do serious damage to a guy.
Let's go to our studios where Dean Blandino is standing by. Dean, what did you see on that play, and what are the officials dealing with right here?
Yeah, I think Chris was all over it. You've got the interception return and the block by number 50 going back toward his own goal line. That's a blindside block. You can't go to the head neck area. It's a dangerous block. So right now, they're talking about the enforcement of that foul and could be talking about a possible ejection.
That serious? It's looked at as that serious that it could bring an ejection to Branch?
That is something the league this offseason talked about, something that's flagrant or egregious. They want the officials to consider ejection, and also the officiating department from New York can get involved in this and eject the player from New York. So this will be interesting to see how they sort this out and what they end up doing.
Dean, am I right about this? This is the first year that we've been able to go to New York, and New York can kind of overrule and mandate that the player be removed from the competition.
Correct. This is the first year that they can go back to New York and discuss the disqualification part of it. That's new.
Things being explained here to Mike Vrabel, and Jerome Boger set to make the announcement.
There are multiple fouls on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, Tennessee, number 97 and 33. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, Tennessee, number 33. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, offense, number 28. These fouls all set. All three players, this is the first foul toward disqualification for the remainder of the game. After the play, first down Miami at the dead ball spot.
So the taunting foul's called.
9:04 on the game clock.
And apparently nothing is assessed to Andre Branch.
Nothing to Andre.
Dean, what's your reaction to the calls announced by Jerome Boger?
Well, the taunting, all of that happened after the play, but that's surprising that we didn't have a penalty on number 50, because that is a blindside block. And obviously, you could see Lewan leaving the field with a potential injury.
And there's the man you talked about right there.
Yeah, Tennessee's got reason to be upset about it. It's something they've tried to take out of the game, and now they've lost one of their best offensive players. Anytime you see a player face down, anytime you see a player in the fencing position, they're going to be removed from the game, and we will not see him play any more football. So tremendous bad break for the Titans.
Dean, thank you very much for your insight and input. Now Miami starting for the Tennessee 35. Spread offense here with four receivers to the left. Tannehill throwing and completing. Short, and the ball comes loose. And its whistle is down as being down at the 31-yard line.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down
Grant.
by contact. Second down.
Jakeem Grant on the reception, but ruled down by contact. And here's the hurry-up offense for Miami. And they whistle.
Titans are going to challenge it.
A challenge, excuse me. So Mike Vrabel, for the first time in his NFL head coaching career, throws the challenge flag. Tennessee down 7-3.
The field that the runner was down
Miami
by contact prior to the ball
trying to drive, and a challenge on this play. The challenge by Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a good challenge, but you're going to see his elbow right there hit down, so he'll be ruled down once that right elbow hits the ground, and then later on with the jostling for the ball, he's going to get it out.
And Jerome Boger, after looking at the video device.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed that the runner was down by contact at the 31-yard line. Tennessee is charged a timeout.
All right. Mike Vrabel in his NFL head coaching debut.
One thing we saw early in the first quarter, new coach, new coordinator. They burned 2 timeouts in the first quarter. Now when you start getting into the second half, try to have a 2-minute drive, those timeouts become far more important.
3 wide receivers right. The tight end, Mike Gesicki, to the left, along with Kenya and Drake. Now Drake shifts back into the backfield. 2nd and 6 for the Dolphins. Tannehill flushed out of the pocket. Throws too high. Trying to get it to Danny Amendola.
We got a little holding, defensive holding, probably in the secondary.
Holding. Defense, number 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
Logan Ryan called for the hold.
Now these guys are going to be battling each other. They were teammates in New England. The reason why the Titans put Logan Ryan in the slot, because they felt like he was familiar with Amendola's route. Right there, they get him at the top of the route. He tries the last one around his shoulders.
Logan Ryan, who played in New England. Malcolm Butler, who played in New England, both in the defensive backfield for Tennessee. First down for the Dolphins. Tannehill being pressured. Finds Amendola. And Amendola gets a couple of extra yards down to the 18-yard line. LaShawn Sims on the stop.
A little shallow cross route. We've seen Amendola run this in New England. He'll run a lot of those this year for the Dolphins.
The hurry-up offense. The keeper by Tannehill. He throws and completes it to Mike Gesicki down at the 6-yard line. The big tight end out of Penn State. 11 yards and a first down. And we have an injured player for Tennessee.
Gesicki now, he's one of Tannehill's favorite targets even early. Dolphins fans, you didn't see him a lot. They were trying to disguise him. He's going to play a big role in this offense. The coaching staff's very, very excited to get the rookie here. Leading pass catcher in Penn State history as far as catches and yards.
As a tight end.
As a tight end. And also, this guy's got an unbelievable vertical leap. He's a freakish athlete. Far more athletic than people would think. 41 inches at the NFL Combine, one of the highest all time.
Well, they expect him to be a big contributor. Came out a year early after his junior year at Penn State. The injured player for Tennessee, Wesley Woodyard, the linebacker. And he's being checked out by the medical staff. So Miami, after the turnover, driving inside the 10, will have a 1st and goal at the 7. Mike Vrabel has checked out Woodyard.
Injuries are starting to mount. Woodyard, one of their staples on the defense. Rush the passer, great tackler, one of the leaders. Taylor Lewan on the offensive side, very good football player. as you start getting late in the third and fourth quarter, you only got so many bodies. Early in the season, man, it can wear out your roster.
First and goal at the Tennessee 7. 3 wide receivers right. Kenyon Drake in the backfield. Drake inside the 5 and down to the 3-yard line. Brings up a second and goal. Kenny Vaccaro leading the way for Tennessee. They spot the ball to 4.
Watch Gesicki outside, especially now they don't have their big-time first-round draft pick, Parker. Watch for a jump ball outside. Guy with a 41-inch vertical. I just think a good coaching staff like Gase, I think they might want to use him here.
Gesicki split off to the left side. 3 wide receivers right. There's the throw to Gesicki. Intercepted by Malcolm Butler. Butler may go. He slipped and he fell. Oh, he had a chance to turn it into a huge return, but a big interception by Malcolm Butler. The former Patriot star, the Super Bowl hero in 51, intercepts the pass from Tannehill, and it's Tennessee ball. Welcome back to Miami. Glad you've hung with us. We are back. We are almost ready to resume play. This has been an unbelievable afternoon on the opening day of the season for the Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans. This game is 7-3, 6:47 to go in the third quarter. First half, Titans scored a field goal. Then they were driving on their second possession, stopped at the 2-yard line. Miami turned it around, drove 98 yards, and Ryan Tannehill hit Kenny Stills for the touchdown to give Miami the lead. Second half, each quarterback has been intercepted.
Both quarterbacks making mistakes here. As you can see, Mariota overthrowing, Tannehill underthrowing. Both teams capitalizing on those turnovers.
Malcolm Butler picking off Ryan Tannehill as the Dolphins were inside the 10-yard line and threatening. Marcus Mariota, 9 for 15, 103 yards, 1 interception. Ryan Tannehill, 15 for 19, 118 yards with a touchdown and an interception. That 98-yard scoring drive by Miami, their longest since 1989.
Very, very impressive. And also needed.
Sarah Kustak's down the stairs. Let's join her right now. Sarah, what's happening?
Well, the Dolphin locker room is blaming their defensive coordinator, Matt Burke, who just told me that at dinner last night he warned his guys, get ready. Something crazy is going to happen. He went through every one of his openers, and he said it's all about being mentally tough and resilient when it does. Well, it certainly has. And I spoke with some of these Dolphin players, and they said during this delay, they were just in the locker room. They were eating, trying to stay relaxed. They were watching some of the other NFL games. Same goes for the Titans, who were outside their locker room, and it was all about the balance of making sure they were maintaining their poise until it was go time, as it is right now.
Thanks, Sarah. I want to apologize to our fans, let you know you saw that note of limited coverage because of the lightning in the area. Our cameramen are in safe positions. Our cameras are locked on the field, and we will do the best we can until the all clear is given. Meanwhile, we resume play with the ball at the Titans 33, 1st and 10. Mariota fakes, throws a screen pass, it's intercepted! Kiko Alonso, the linebacker, picks it off.
Wow, what a change in momentum. They try to run a screen pass. When is a screen pass good? Most of the time if they're in man-to-man. When is a screen pass bad? Sometimes if the linebacker reads it like Kiko Alonso does, escapes the blocker, is able to... He's able to secure the catch after the rebound off Dion Lewis. Mariota needs to throw a little softer ball to give Dion, only 5'9", a chance to make a play on it.
So the Dolphins take over at the Tennessee 28-yard line. Frank Gore is the running back. And Gore cuts it back, gets inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Malcolm Butler on the tackle. Frank Gore playing his first game back in his hometown city of Miami. Played at the University of Miami, starred there, 7 carries, 55 yards in the game. Nice debut.
Frank Gore's been one of the more impressive players that we have on the field. If they're going to grind it out here, I'm expecting Frank Gore, after this big delay, to let him get most of the carries the second half.
A.J. Derby, the tight end in the slot. 3 wide receivers. Tannehill, short drop. Quick throw, complete to Kenny Stills at the 15 and down at the 14-yard line. Adoree Jackson, who was injured, had a shoulder injury earlier on a punt return, back in the game, made the tackle.
Man, they've targeted him a bunch, not only in the first half, but going after him again in the second half. Good slant. Tannehill puts the ball where only receiver can get it. He gets good field, good body position on it, secure the catch to get him down inside that 15-yard line.
Tannehill is split out to the left. And now with the confusion, Miami calls a timeout. Looked like they were going to go Wildcat with Albert Wilson.
They were going to give away one of our trade secrets. We know in talking to the staff the last couple of days that Albert Wilson, going back to his college days at Georgia State, that they were going to get him involved in some running game, handling the ball, but also, remember we had the triple option earlier in the game, so this is one of several different looks that when they brought him over from Kansas City, they planned on utilizing as part of their regular attack week in and week out, not only as a slot receiver.
Durham Smythe, rookie out of Notre Dame, 4th-round draft pick, is in the game. How about this? We played in 1 hour and 46 minutes. We've been delayed 4 hours. On first down, Tannehill under center. Fakes the handoff, throws for the end zone. And Wilson was shoved out of bounds. There's no signal, and it is incomplete. Malcolm Butler was on him.
They're playing cover 0. That's where you have no safety. They're really dependent on tight man-to-man coverage. Malcolm Butler is close enough. There's just not enough room. Tannehill's got to be able to try to get that up a little bit earlier to give the wide receiver a chance. But you run out of real estate in the red zone.
2nd and 10. Frank Gore cuts it back. He's got room. And he powers his way down to the 6-yard line. Good run by Frank Gore. One of the all-time leading rushers. 10 years in San Francisco, 3 in Indianapolis, and now here with the Miami Dolphins. 3rd and 1. Gore is stopped. Stopped for a loss. Good play up front by the Titans.
Dolphins try to go with a hurry up in 3rd and short. I don't like hurry up in 3rd and short. You don't gain an advantage. They're going to shoot the gap. You know, if you give them a run look, they're going to be able to get penetration in the backfield. That's what the Titans do to make the stop.
And the rookie Jason Sanders, who won the place-kicking job in training camp, will attempt a 27-yard field goal. His first in the NFL. Matt Hawk is the holder. John Denny is the long snapper. And the kick is good. His first in the NFL. And the Dolphins put up 3 points after the interception by Kiko Alonso and have a 10-3 lead on the Tennessee Titans. Alert defensive play by Alonso on the interception off the screen pass. There, Frank Gore, we talked about him in his first game as a Dolphin having a strong effort, but look at the numbers. Rushing leaders all time: Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Curtis Martin, Hall of Famers.
All of them, Hall of Famers.
And Frank Gore.
Frank Gore, it's got to be. It's a no-brainer. He's been too consistent for too long. It's not only how great you were, but it's how long can you maintain that greatness. We saw the picture of Frank Gore. He looks like he just came down from the U on the bus.
He hasn't missed a game in 6 seasons. Sanders kicking off, and through the end zone it goes for the touchback. Titans will start from the 25. Tennessee Titans made the playoffs last season, 9-7, won a playoff game against Kansas City, but then fired Mike Mularkey and hired Mike Vrabel as his first year as a head coach in the National Football League. Outstanding playing career, was an assistant coach under Urban Meyer at Ohio State, then with the Houston Texans. Last year was the defensive coordinator.
And every once in a while, people refer to me as the guy that all he does is score touchdowns. Well, Vrabel is the real. He's the originator. 12 catches, 12 touchdowns in his career.
That was unbelievable. Dion Lewis on the first down carry. Picks up 8 yards. Look at those numbers. Mike Vrabel, they would put him in on goal line offense, and he would catch touchdowns. Just throw me the ball, coach. Dolphins jumped across. Looked like Devon Godshaw might have jumped across.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 56. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Blaine Gabbert has come in at quarterback, replacing Marcus Mariota, who was injured earlier, had a hand injury. After the delay, Mariota returned and threw that interception. And now Blaine Gabbert. And it's an elbow injury, we're told, to Marcus Mariota that is keeping him out of the game. Gabbert threw one pass when he came in earlier. Dion Lewis on the carry again, up to the 40-yard line. Xavier Howard on the tackle.
Let's see if Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator who came over from the LA Rams, does he change what the game plan was? And discussing it with them, they wanted to go a lot of hurry up. They wanted to do some play action, throw the ball down the field. Now they're down in the game as we go and transition into the fourth quarter. Does he change it? Does he have a plan B?
2nd and 8 for the Titans. The tight end Luke Stocker lines up at fullback. Blitz coming. Dion Lewis cuts it back. He's got room to run. Spins away. And Lewis still on his feet. Is ridden down to the 35-yard line. Outstanding run by Dion Lewis.
One of the few times the offense has reason to cheer. They're going to lean on this offensive line. I mean, you got to do it. It's one of the best in football. They're without their left tackle. He's out with an injury. Taylor Wander without their right tackle.
Tennessee going up tempo here now. Gabbert checking off at the line.
Yeah, you can't rely on a consistent passing game. Allow them to roll off and let's run the football.
Lewis to stop. Rashad Jones, the leading tackler among safeties in the NFL, comes crashing through.
You can see him. He's going to fit this gap, and he's going to shoot it when he sees it. Coaches teach, hey, son, shoot your gun if you see the right play. He reads the play. Anytime he's in the box, he's a sure tackler. That's one thing you have to be able to read. If you see him down close to the line of scrimmage, you're going to have to audible and get out of it and throw the ball down the field.
Derrick Henry in at running back now. Loss of 2 on the play. That pass is complete to Delaney Walker. Slips one man and another and is out of bounds at the 20-yard line. A couple of nice moves by Delaney Walker.
It's one of the things that makes him special. He's one of the most complete tight ends. Not only a good blocker, but you can move him outside and isolate him against a linebacker, a safety. as he sees makes a couple guys miss, able to move the chains down where now they can get to the red zone.
Outstanding drive here by the Tennessee Titans, which started at the 25. First down at the Dolphins 20. They motion Corey Davis. Short drop by Gabbert, and the pass too high. Intended for Tajay Sharp. Thrown a little too high.
That should be an easy completion. They got what you call on the outside to be free access. Free access is where you're not pressed and the wide receiver has a free release off the line of scrimmage. He runs a quick 5-yard out. Gabbert misses him. Well, why has he been inconsistent throughout his career, even though he's got a big arm? He has all the talent, all the attributes you want in a quarterback, but just inconsistent as far as his footwork, which makes his throws sail on.
Jonnu Smith in at tight end to the left side. Stocker lining up as a fullback. Dion Lewis carries for a short gain. Got about a yard. That'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Tennessee Titans. You mentioned the injuries on the offensive line. Dennis Kelly has played all the way at right tackle. Kevin Pamfield is the left tackle. We've reached the end of the 3rd quarter. It's been a long day, but it's been some fun football. And Miami leading 10-3 over Tennessee at the end of the 3rd. Game started at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's now the longest game since the NFL-AFL merger.
You don't have to do this to me, Sam. I know I want to spend time. Just tell the suits to put us back together.
There you go. Dion Lewis splits out. It's 3rd and 9. Gabbert throws and completes it inside the 5. Completing it to Corey Davis. Big throw and catch.
Titans trying to get in a hurry-up offense. They go empty backfield, give Blaine Gabbert a very, very good look, move Corey Davis in the slot, put pressure on the safety, get a completion inside the 5.
1st and goal for the Titans. 2 wide receivers and tight end to the right side. Now they motion Corey Davis. Dion Lewis. Slips a man, goes to the goal line, and he's in. Touchdown. A great drive and great answer by the Tennessee Titans, who now have a chance to tie the game.
Great opportunity for Dion Lewis to finish off the drive. The reason why they're down there is the big play that he made to give him the opportunity. Last year, he proved himself in New England, the first time in his career, over 800 yards rushing, and you can see why underrated between the tackles because he's hard to get on the ground.
12 carries for 63 yards in the game, averaging better than 5 yards per carry. So the Titans, who led 3-0 early in the game when they took the opening kickoff and marched down and got a field goal from Ryan Suckup, looking to tie the game on the extra point try by Suckup. And the kick is good. And the game is tied at 10. Early 4th quarter. And we have positive news. Our cameramen are back in position. Our cameras are back. We saw a rainbow over the stadium.
Hey,
things are looking up.
It's been a very competitive football game the whole way, even though we had the huge delays early in the game. Tennessee with the momentum, dominating. Later on, the Dolphins are able to take advantage of some turnovers where they take the lead. Now, with Mariota injured, questionable, is he coming back with the elbow after getting hit earlier in the game. Blaine Gabbert takes him down, so they got to have a lot of confidence. You know, left tackle, Taylor Lewan, he got knocked out earlier on a crackback block, came into the game with Coughlin, their right tackle, out of the game. So, man, they're down to the bare bones on that offensive line, but the game will be won with that offensive line.
Ryan Suckup to kick it off. Jakeem Grant back deep for the Dolphins. Grant comes up, takes it 1 yard deep and brings it out. Finds a lane. Jakeem Grant. He may go all the way. Grant is in. Touchdown, Miami. ...101-yard return by Jakeem Grant.
Not touched. You can see him, he catches it with good momentum. They set up what they call a breakout right. They kick out the outside guy. And if you don't touch a guy like this, a small guy on the field, you know speed is an asset that he has.
A 101-yard return for Jakeem Grant. Gives Miami the lead. The extra point by Jason Sanders is good. And Miami brings it right back. Grant takes it all the way, and the Dolphins lead 17-10. Second longest kickoff return in Miami Dolphins history. Mercury Morris had a 105-yard kickoff return. And the first for the Dolphins since 2016. Darius Jennings back deep for Tennessee. And the Sanders kickoff through the end zone for the touchback. So now let's see how Tennessee responds. Earlier in the game, this play caused an injury to Marcus Mariota.
Yes, you had William Hayes in at the defensive end. They're running the RPO. And the way the rules are, when the quarterback's in the gun, he makes that fake, he's a live ball carrier. So a lot of defensive ends, what they do is they hit the quarterback to make the coaches to stop running it. It's something the Titans are going to have to consider because they plan on utilizing that a lot for Mariota this year.
Gabbert remains in the game. Mariota on the sideline. And Tennessee from the 25. They need another drive again. Off the play fake. Gabbert throws too high off the fingertips of Corey Davis. Let's find out what's going on around the league and check in with Kurt Menefee. Kurt.
All right, Dallas was being shut out midway through the fourth quarter until Zeke took it in from 4 yards out. He had the 2-point conversion to pull it to a one-score game, 16-8, Carolina on top. Sam, you told Chris you don't get overtime when you do games, right?
Oh, no, he's got his timesheet out. He's getting paid by the hour. Thanks, Kurt. The official return now for Jakeem Grant is 102 yards. On 2nd and 10, Gabbert fires and completes it. Good hard throw. And the catch by Delaney Walker up at the 39-yard line. Making the 38, gain of 14.
Seems like their passing attack, they're trying to attack the middle of the field. As you can see, Blaine Gabbert, he has plenty arm. When he steps into it, if he can just be a little more accurate.
Gabbert started his NFL career in Jacksonville, 3 seasons there, 3 seasons in San Francisco, and last season in Arizona. Derrick Henry bursts through. Down the sideline he goes, and he's going in. Touchdown! There's a flag back at the 45-yard line. Hold everything. 62-yard run for Derrick Henry.
Holding. Offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
The veteran Delaney Walker called for holding.
He's not happy with the call.
Wow. And Coach Mike Vrabel looking up at the video board. Oh, what's that?
Well, you could see either one of the players.
Yeah, they're both. That was Jerome Baker for Miami. Tangled. He had a piece of Delaney Walker, and Walker had a piece of him.
Delaney Walker's a tough guy. You can see both of them battling there. I didn't see the holding. I did see one guy grab another guy's face mask.
So, what looked like a huge play for the Titans turns into a holding penalty that brings the ball back to the 30-yard line of Tennessee. Derrick Henry, who last year shared running duties with DeMarco Murray, who has since retired. Dion Lewis in the game. On first down, Gabbert throws and completes it to Luke Stocker. His second catch of the game. Stocker best known for his blocking, but has caught 2 passes today. Ball up to the 36-yard line, have to get to the 48 for a first down. Blaine Gabbert, when he came into the league, was thrust into the starting role as a rookie with Jacksonville.
Got hit too much as a young quarterback, and you know, Sam, as long as you've been covering this game, typically a long, successful career is hard.
Quick throw, and it's dropped. The drop by Dion Lewis, who's usually a very reliable receiver out of the backfield.
Help your quarterback out, second and long. Offensive coordinator puts you in a good play. He's actually trying to throw it out there to get half of the yardage. Potentially Dion, if he has a linebacker on to make a guy miss. The Dolphins stay with their normal defense, put their right corner, McCain, over there. But you got to be able to make that play to get it to third and medium. It's more manageable. Third and hard to get in the NFL.
Titans 4 for 9 on third down conversions today. Gabbert throws short. Dion Lewis is brought down at the 43-yard line. Way short of the first down. Raekwon McMillan, second-year linebacker out of Ohio State, in on the stop.
Good job by Gabbert there. They dropped down in a maximum zone defense. They got 7 guys with eyes on the quarterback. The chance of making a mistake and throwing an interception, just check it down, punt the ball if the guy doesn't get the first down.
Coach Vrabel and Delaney Walker talking things over about the holding penalty. The punt to Danny Amendola, who takes it and steps out of bounds around the 11-yard line. Miami Dolphins, Jakeem Grant, 102-yard kickoff return. Mike Vrabel, the rookie coach. Miami leads Tennessee. We talked to him about his coaching. He's involved with the players all the time. First down from the 11. Tannehill didn't see anybody open and decides to run it ahead up to the 15-yard line. I don't know if that was a broken play.
Well, they had a little RPO, and also if they didn't want the RPO, they were going to throw the swing pass. The Titans played the perfect defense with a strong safety, took away the swing, so Tannehill, instead of making a mistake, did the right thing, tuck it, make a positive play.
For those who don't know, RPO is run-pass option.
Yes.
Kenyon Drake is the running back. Tannehill with time, throws, and off the hands of Kenny Stills.
Now, he's one of the surer receivers that they have for the Dolphins, one of the better ones in the league. Right now, we have a steady drizzle of rain. As you can see, that ball,
wet ball,
that color of that ball, the discoloration lets you know that ball's wet. And you see he's not aggressive with it, tries to play it with his body. Ball slips through his arm.
Dolphins 1 for 6 on third down conversions in the game. Sends it to Kenyon Drake, and he's got a first down. Drake, a good receiver out of the backfield.
This is one thing he does really special. Swing out of the backfield. Great read by Tannehill. With the hot read, gets it to his hot receiver. Happens to be Drake. Drake converts the first down.
Needed 6, picked up 10. Tannehill 17 for 23, 138 yards. 2 tight ends in the game for Miami. Both to the left side. Off the play fake. Tannehill going long. Way down for Stills. And he's got it. And he's in for a touchdown. He went for it all. 75 yards. Kenny Stills' second touchdown of the game.
They're really pleased with their wide receivers as a group. They feel like they have a lot of speed. They wanted to challenge Malcolm Butler deep down the field. Tannehill reads the safety, who takes the inside route, makes a perfect throw. Malcolm Butler tries to come underneath. It's tight coverage, but a perfect throw.
Wow, big play. And the Dolphins open up a 2-touchdown lead. Ryan Tannehill is back. His first game since 2016. And he's throwing it perfectly. Dolphins lead it 24-10. Perfect combination, Tannehill to Stills.
Oh, man, they believe they have some explosive players. Frank Gore, Drake, Albert Wilson, the wide receivers, Kenny Steele. They believe they have amazing speed. They believe with Tannehill back, getting all these guys to football, they believe they can be an explosive offense.
Darius Jennings back deep. The kickoff short. Jennings on the return from the 7. He breaks through. And Jennings going. Being chased. Jennings goes all the way. Touchdown Tennessee.
Woo. Game of big plays.
94 yards. Wow.
Unusually short kick. He gets the ball as he approaches with a full head of steam. And I don't think anybody touched him on this play. We got 2 kickoff returns. Neither one of the guys being touched. These guys are too fast. Now, I know with the new kickoff rules, is that something we're going to have to look at? Because you can't set the wall and all the ways you can, the limited wedges because of the head injuries on special teams.
Well, we're seeing some runbacks, that's for sure.
I mean, it's rare.
Darius Jennings goes 94 yards and gets Tennessee right back into it and gets them going after the Dolphins had opened up a 14-point lead. Big plays have been happening since we resumed play here in the 4th quarter. Jakeem Grant with a 102-yard kickoff return.
Not touched, probably the fastest guy on the field. Great blocking, great scheme. He starts up the left side, they kick out a guy, and he's able to bring it all the way up the right sideline.
And then 75-yard pass from Tannehill to Kenny Stills.
Reads the coverage, makes the big play with the completion, and coming right back at him, the Titans. So let's stay in this game.
So it's a 1-touchdown game with plenty of time left. Well, we said that the game was good if they only could keep playing it. We had all those delays. And that kickoff bounces past Jakeem Grant for a touchback. 3-0 Tennessee at the end of the 1st quarter. Miami answering back with their touchdown. Then came the nearly 2-hour delay, lightning delay. play into the third quarter, and now the fourth quarter scoring is picked up.
During the delay, you asked me which guys did you think it would affect as far as group. I said, well, naturally, the bigger guys. I didn't think it would affect the special teams. I knew fast guys who got fast twitch muscle fiber, they can get warmed up quicker. But obviously, the guys covering the kicks, it's been affected them since we've come back.
Dolphins from the 25. Tannehill straight back, puts it up deep again, and it's incomplete. Try to go to Jakeem Grant down the sideline. Kevin Byard broke it up.
Tannehill needs to be careful. Kevin Byard, one of the most underrated safeties. Last year, All-Pro. He has tremendous range. Tied for the NFL lead with 8 interceptions. Typically, if he gets 2 hands on it, he's going to be able to catch it.
Oh, yeah. On second down, Tannehill throws quickly, and a big hit on Grant. The little guy is seeing a lot of action. That's his 5th catch of the game. Jakeem Grant. Adoree Jackson with a tackle for Tennessee.
He's going to make a lot of big plays for the Dolphins this year. They're excited about the training camp that he had. He's grown his game in the first couple of years here. He's not just a special teams player. Understands all positions, so you can move him around, which typically a lot of fast guys, that's a problem.
3rd and 4. Tannehill with time. Great protection. Flag on the play. Tannehill runs for the first down, but the flag in the backfield has to be checked out here.
Interior offensive line, I think we're going to get a little holding call.
Holding. Offense. Number 71. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 3rd down.
That's on big Josh Sitton. Came over as a free agent from the Chicago Bears.
They're going to run a defensive, a TE stunt here. TE, that means the tackle on the end. They're going to switch responsibilities. Josh Sitton, if he gets you in a phone booth, he's going to grab a hold of you every once in a while. He's one of the better guards that we have in the league. Really helped change some of that culture in the locker room. Adam Gase was explaining that to me. Guys like him help stabilize some of the problems they've had the last couple seasons. Come from a locker room, not necessarily the best.
And Adam Gase got to know him when Adam was offensive coordinator in Chicago. And certainly when they had the opportunity to sign him, they did. Blitz coming. Tannehill. It was picked up. He throws deep again, overthrows, and it's intercepted. Intercepted by Kenny Vaccaro. And that time, the pass way overthrown.
It's either a misread by Tannehill or bad communication between him and the wide receiver. This ball sails on him. Kenny Vaccaro, they signed him after their starting free safety was injured. Good veteran player. Played good football in New Orleans. Helped stabilize him. Byard rotating the strong safety and free safety. They liked the addition of adding him before training camp got started this season.
So now the Titans with the ball at their 43. Good field position as they try to get back and tie this game up. Dion Lewis bursts through. Nice quick burst as he gets up to midfield. Lewis has carried the ball well here in the second half.
We know throughout the game this is a great offensive line, but they got a backup in here, a backup here. Man, these guys are, all 5 of these guys are under the spotlight. If the Titans are going to win, they're going to rely on that big bacon up there to be able to lead them to a victory. They're going to have to be able to run the ball some to take the pressure off of Gabbard.
2nd and 3, Gabbard rolling and throwing short through the hands of Jonnu Smith. The tight end, the second-year man out of Florida International. He was a 3rd-round draft pick last year. And talking to Delaney Walker, he thinks Jonnu Smith is ahead of where Delaney was early in his career.
Yeah, he just played football right up the road at FIU, Florida International. Good speed guy. He's going to be a good route runner. Right now, he's a good blocker at the end of the line of scrimmage also.
Big play here for the Titans. 3rd and 3. Gabbert throws the screen. Dion Lewis. Kiko Alonso shoved him out of bounds, but Lewis looks like he got out right at the first down marker.
When you have Kiko Alonso, you can play a lot of man-to-man. This guy's got range sideline to sideline. Dion Lewis, one of the special additions to the Titans this offseason. Just dump it to him. He's going to make something of it.
Good stiff arm.
Good stiff arm. You need a good stiff arm when you're 5'7"-ish.
First down for the Titans at the Dolphins 47. Lewis carries and gets down to the 42-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play. Robert Quinn, and on the stop for the Dolphins, Robert Quinn, who feels he can resurrect his career here in Miami.
Yeah, absolutely. Earlier in the game was a battle with him and the all-pro left tackle. They were trying to run at him. Right now, you got to be able to try to mix it up. He's got to be a double-digit sack guy if the Dolphins are going to be successful.
Corey Davis motioned. Here's Dion Lewis spinning. It's only a yard on the play to the 41-yard line. Lewis carrying the running load now in the second half.
Yeah, we talked about Derrick Henry, how he dominated in the fourth quarter. But right now, it seems like Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator, he's going to ride the hot hand and kind of the change of pace in Dion Lewis.
And again, big third down play. Have to get to the 37 for a first down. Gabbert under pressure, he fires, and it's intercepted by Rashad Jones. Jones inside the 20, ran into a Titan at the 12-yard line.
Walker.
And the big plays continue, this one on defense.
What you're going to have here, Delaney Walker's trying to get in that area. We got a miscommunication. Blaine Gabbert, he's got an option route, thinks he's going to go outside. Delaney Walker feels the defender outside, so he's going to pivot inside. The guy has a three-way break. He can go inside, he can go outside, or he can take it to the post.
52-yard return by Rashad Jones.
Great catch. As you can see, Blaine Gabbert, if you don't have a clean pocket, if he can't step into the throws, that's what we talked about earlier. What does he struggle with? Accuracy.
Dolphins with the ball at the Tennessee 12. Kenyon Drake is stopped for a loss. Good play up front by Jarrell Casey and Wesley Woodyard. Woodyard was shaken up earlier in the game.
Jarrell Casey, haven't mentioned his name. He's one of the best interior linemen that we have in the National Football League. Adam Case talked about the interior, his center, both of his guards. He believed both of them were underrated and believed in this matchup that they were going to bring Casey to a stalemate and he wouldn't be able to dominate like he's used to.
Empty backfield. On second down, blitz coming. And Tannehill is sacked. First sack of the game for either team. And that is Kamale Correa, who was traded to the Tennessee Titans for Baltimore just a couple of weeks ago.
He's right here. He's going to come in. They got too many guys coming. They got 6 guys rushing. The Dolphins got 5 guys in protection, so he comes unblocked. The guy's going to be pretty successful if you don't block him.
Kenyon Drake, the running back, splits out as they go empty backfield again. And now the Titans call timeout. Time winding down in a game that has taken a long time to play, but there have been a lot of good things going on. A lot of big plays. We've seen run backs. We've seen long touchdown passes. We've seen interceptions and returns, and it's been quite a game once we've gotten down to playing it.
Yeah, I do believe that the delay is going to affect, and it's affected the special teams. Guys were not disciplined. Now, these are also guys that are typically either younger players or journeymen. So how do they stay focused in the transition with 2 delays? It becomes very, very difficult, especially early in the football season. So I expected it to be a little sloppy, so that's what's led to the big plays since the second delay.
Now on this last one, Gabbert throwing the interception, he's replacing the starter, Mariota, and we saw the fact that maybe there was a lack of communication with Delaney Walker on that play.
He probably hadn't gotten a lot of reps with the first team.
Daniel getting it outside to Kenny Stills.
Safe play here. Get yourself in better position for a field goal. You're up by a touchdown. Get yourself a 10-point lead. No need to turn the ball over, drop back, chance of fumbling.
There's Marcus Mariota on the sideline with what we've been told is an elbow injury. The rookie Jason Sanders attempting a 30-yard field goal. He's had a field goal earlier in the game. And Hawk, the holder, and the kick is good. And the Dolphins have a 10-point lead, 27-17. Here in the fourth quarter, we've had lots of action. 31 combined points, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, 1 for each team, and the first NFL game with 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns of over 94 yards since 2000.
A lot of first. Longest game. I'm trying to get as much experience as I can.
Hey, good stuff in there.
I'm praying for overtime.
75-yard touchdown pass, an interception return 52 yards. Miami Dolphins, last year, their opening game of the season was postponed because of Hurricane Irma. And then they wound up playing 16 weeks consecutively without a bye week. And today's game stops and starts with the lightning delays. But the Dolphins now have a 10-point lead. That's a touchback, and the Titans will go from the 25. Let's go down to the field where Sarah Kutsak is standing by.
Beautiful interception by Rashad Jones, and he actually earned his second Pro Bowl nod in 2017, a year after having his prior season cut short due to a shoulder injury that required 2 surgeries. And Adam Gase has talked about it, and he said, I think the longer that he's played, it's easier because he's reacting more. He's not thinking as much. He's seen so many different schemes over the course of his career, allows him to just be aggressive. And as for Jones, he said, I was a late round draft pick. I'm always trying to prove myself.
Veteran players really become one of the top defensive backs in the league. On first down, Blake Gabbert fires and completes over the middle again. It's a 15-yard pickup.
Delaney Walker's hurt.
Oh, boy.
Oh, he's gruesome injury. I think he dislocated his ankle or broke his lower leg.
All right. Medical staff quickly out on the field. Check out Delaney Walker's injury.
You're going to say he's running a basic cross here, about a 12-yard cross. As he delivers a stiff arm, sometimes you have to watch and see how a guy rolls up with his hips. He tries to lasso you to try to get you to the ground. Emergency staff coming onto the field.
There's T.J. McDonald on the tackle. Delaney Walker, a key man for the Tennessee Titans, injured on the play. We step out with the Dolphins leading by 10. Delaney Walker being lifted onto the cart will be taken to the locker room. You see the respect that the players have. The Dolphins players coming over to wish him well and acknowledge Delaney Walker.
Well respected around the league. In his 13th season, he's been an Iron Man, underrated as a receiver, one of the team leaders.
And they put a boot around him quickly. And we only can wish him the best, and hopefully that's not too serious an injury.
He's a class act. Anytime they put a boot around it, typically some type of fracture.
Yeah.
They try to secure that area. Right now you can see the medical staff and the way they were waving guys on it. You knew it was something serious.
What a day it's been for the rookie coach, Mike Vrabel. The fans that are still here have hung in there with a big round of applause for a great player in Delaney Walker. Mike Vrabel has lost his starting quarterback, his starting tight end, and his starting left tackle in this game. Wow.
Yeah, they paid a heavy price that will take its toll on their season.
From the 40 on first down, Gabbert fires too high, intended for Corey Davis. Gabbert 7 for 14 after replacing the injured Marcus Mariota.
Things are a lot easier for the Dolphins defense now. I don't expect them to put a lot of blitz or play a lot of man-to-man, play a lot of zone, have Blaine Gabbert drive down the field twice to try to beat you. The Dolphins, their staff, they probably like their odds. So watch for a lot of zone coverage and force the Titans to throw the football.
2nd and 10. They motion Rashard Matthews. Gabbert with time swings it out to Dion Lewis. And a short pickup as he's bumped out of bounds by Kiko Alonso at the 43-yard line.
This is where you'll start to see too, because you were talking about those timeouts earlier, burned by the first-year coach. Now down by 2 scores, 1 timeout left, less than 4 minutes. So now every carry, possession, do you get inbounds or is it completed, becomes very important.
There's a big 3rd down play. Gabbert throws, nobody there. The receivers all curled inside. He threw outside. And some miscommunication.
We've seen this several times with the wide receivers. We saw Delaney Walker on the option route, which led to an interception. Now we see their number 1 receiver, Corey Davis. Gabbert thinks he's going to run a post corner. He runs a post. Miscommunication. Last opportunity for them, needing 2 scores, 4th down.
Titans go for it on 4th and 7 at the 43. And Gabbert uses that last time out. The head coach, Mike Vrabel. The offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur, is upstairs. And we mentioned, how do you lose 3 key players like that? That is tough.
It's hard losing guys on game day because you're limited number of guys you're going to dress. And now you're starting to lose your leaders and also your best football players. Puts a strain on your coaching staff, puts a strain on the training staff, because offensive tackles, they're out of them. So now one of the tackles got hurt, they'd have to move a guard out there. This is not a day, his first day on the job as the NFL head coach, and he's going to forget quick.
4th and 7. Gabbert being rushed, and the pass out of the hands of Dion Lewis, incomplete. And the ball goes over on downs to the Dolphins, who have themselves a 10-point lead on the ball in Tennessee territory.
As you can see, the Dolphins here, they're threatening like they're going to blitz. No, they're not. They're just going to do a basic 4-man rush. Blaine Gabbert's got to be able to hold on to that ball and throw the ball, force the ball down the field. So what if you throw an interception? It's going to be your last possession. You're down by 2 scores, don't have any timeouts. Not on the positive side of the 50. You have to just hold it out, and either you're going to take a sack or I'm going to try to force the ball down there where I can get me a first down.
Now the Titans are out of timeouts. Miami will look to to run the clock out. Kenyon Drake goes down at the 40-yard line after a 3-yard pickup.
What about these Dolphins fans
that have hung in there?
I mean, my goodness, it's almost 8 o'clock, 1 o'clock kickoff. How hot it was, all the different changes. Man, you got to give them a lot of credit for hanging in there with this team.
An impressive return for Ryan Tannehill, who's 20 for 28, 229 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 75-yard bomb to Kenny Stills. He did throw 2 interceptions in the game. I'm sure he'll be upset with that. But overall, it's been quite a performance. Drake stopped short of the line of scrimmage for a loss, back to the 43-yard line. But the clock continues to run as we come down to the 2-minute warning. Miami Dolphins leading the Tennessee Titans 27-17. Special member of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School community was taken from us during the tragic school shooting on February 14th. Assistant football coach Aaron Feist lost his life while protecting students. He was among one of the 17 killed in the shooting. Today, he was honored here by Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School as the High School Coach of the Year, the George Smith Coach of the Year.
George Smith's the guy that got me involved in high school coaching at St. Thomas Aquinas. Coached there 8 years. The high school coach in the state of Florida. They have over 400 Division I recruits every year. They do a tremendous job of teaching the game of football and teaching life. But when all chaos broke out, this football coach, he ran towards the trouble. A credit to the Dolphins in recognizing him and also keeping it going, doing football clinics in the community here. Great support for high school sports here in South Florida.
Outstanding. Right here, the clock winding down as the Dolphins are marching toward their opening day victory. Coming up next here on Fox, Rel special preview. I want you to stay tuned for that. Miami Dolphins getting off to a good start in this lightning delayed game, in which we had 2 lengthy delays, one of almost 2 hours and another one which was an hour as well. But the Dolphins came up with big plays, and the return of Ryan Tannehill certainly has got to be a big factor for Adam Gase, because they didn't draft a quarterback. They stuck with Ryan Tannehill.
They showed faith, but people talk about 2016 on the field winning 8 out of 9 games, him growing. But Gase talked about last season when they were injured, when he couldn't play, felt was his greatest growth period, because every day he attacked as if he was the starting quarterback.
The Dolphins will punt it away. Matt Hawk. Tennessee with everybody up on the line as they go for punt block, and they flag for delay of game. Ryan Tannehill and the head coach. Here's what's coming up for the Dolphins. A division game, 3 division games. 2 division games in the next 3. At the Jets, play the Raiders here, and then at the New England Patriots.
They're getting a rookie quarterback on a short week. Darnold's playing on Monday night with the Jets tomorrow, so they should have an advantage. They got the Raiders traveling across the country. Teams typically don't do well doing that before they face New England.
Hawk got it away quickly as the ball bounces down and into the end zone for a touchback with 1:07 remaining. For Mike Vrabel, here's what he's got to deal with. First, he's got to deal with the injuries to his starters. Then he's got the home game against the Houston Texans. And then at Jacksonville, the Eagles come in, and at Buffalo. And then the Ravens come in.
Next 3 weeks, Titans, Jags, Eagles, all very, very physical football teams. Most of those teams, especially the Jags and the Eagles, physical offensive line and defense line. It's going to be a tough month for Vrabel.
Well, Mike certainly knows the Houston Texans, having coached there last season as the defensive coordinator, a couple of seasons before that as linebackers coach. Corey Davis taking that short pass, and out of bounds he goes, stopping the clock with just under a minute to go. So, my Hall of Fame partner, how'd you enjoy this game?
Well, I'm going to have to put in for double duty.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Football, I love football, and there's nothing like pro football. The excitement of it, talking to the teams, going to the facilities, traveling around with a pro like yourself. You made my first try at this a lot better than if I'd have been with another rookie. So thank you.
That was a good day. Good day. Too bad. Almost intercepted by Minkah Fitzpatrick, the rookie out of Alabama. Boy, would he have loved that.
Oh, man, he read the eyes of Blaine Gabbert sitting back in the zone, decided to believe in what he saw. He would have taken that one to the house. Dolphins fans will see him do that. He's going to be a good football player for them. They make some pretty good football players down there at Alabama, right?
They certainly do. There's no doubt about it. 55 seconds remaining. A lot of stories will be about the delays and how the teams handled it. But for Tennessee, the injury factor is certainly huge. They're going to have to deal with that. Blaine Gabbert now. We'll see how long Marcus Mariota is out with the injury to his throwing arm.
Yeah, that's the most serious injury because he is their franchise quarterback. They've got a lot invested in him. That's the reason why they went out and got Matt LaFleur, the offensive coordinator from the Rams, feeling like he was going to make a difference in their game. But when you lose offensive linemen, you start losing leadership like Delaney Walker, it's going to be a long season. They were a playoff team. 9-7 the last 2 seasons. Ownership wasn't satisfied with that.
Well, we talked about Jonnu Smith. That's a guy who's going to have to step up now with Delaney Walker out.
He's going to be a household name now because they need him.
Gabbert throws short to Dion Lewis. And certainly Dion Lewis stood out with some good plays. Running the ball, 76 yards rushing. Catching the ball as well. 6 catches in the game, so he's going to be a very valuable piece to the offense for Tennessee.
Yeah, he was their most valuable offensive player. We knew him added. We knew he could run the ball effectively between the tackles. But when you don't have the type of line.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
But when you don't have that offensive line intact, it's going to affect him. It's going to affect Derrick Henry. It's going to affect the tight ends. Now Delaney Walker, he's going to miss an extended period of time with that ankle injury.
Ryan Suckup out to try a 53-yard field goal. He's got the leg for it. His career long is 54, but before the game, he was making them from between 55 and 60 yards.
Easy.
Brett Kern, the holder. Bo Brinkley, the long snapper. The kick on the way. And it is good. 53-yard field goal. Makes it a 7-point game with 11 seconds remaining as the Titans look for a miracle.
Got to give yourself an opportunity. Suckup's a pro's pro. One of the most accurate kickers in the history of this game. Give yourself for an onside kick. If you're able to onside kick, if you recover it, then you might have a couple tosses, a couple Hail Marys from the 50.
Problem is no timeouts for Tennessee.
It comes back. We saw it early in the game with Vrabel. I was a little easy then because new head coach first game, new offensive coordinator, new verbiage for the quarterback, so I can understand. They had momentum, too, in that first quarter.
Right. .11 seconds to go. The Dolphins with a 7-point lead. Dolphins have 8 men up at the 45-yard line. The onside kick try is covered by Jerome Baker. And that will do it. The opening game of the season, one of the longest as far as time-wise goes, from start to finish, over 7 hours. We started just after 1 o'clock with a kickoff, and I guess we're going to have the clock run down. One more snap. The victory formation for the Dolphins. And that's it. The Miami Dolphins defeat the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel, first game as head coach with the Titans. And Adam Gase gets his offense going, and the Dolphins beat the Titans 27-20. Coming up after the break, a special preview of Rel.